Well, good morning. Welcome back. This is Tampa Home Talk, and this is our second hour. We're glad you're here. And if you're just now tuning into the show, it's probably a good idea if we catch you up on what we've been talking about for the last hour. So we have joining us today again for the second hour, Mr. Mike Fasano, Tim Coette, and Leo Kane, and we're talking all about the PACE program. Man, we covered so much ground in the first hour, but to give you the short and skinny, we were talking about what the PACE program is. It's originally designed for energy type programs, for insulation, hot water heater, HVAC, windows, roofs, solars, all that sort of stuff. There's no qualifications based on credit, and it just simply gets tacked onto your tax bill.
That's correct.
Your people listening today were so awesome to kind of chime in. And where we're going to go with this now, and this is the reason why you don't like it, Mr. Fasano, is because how it sneaks up.
Wait. Let's talk a little bit about why it's positive for our new listeners at the 9 o'clock hour before we start bashing it.
You're right.
And I'm the cynic of the show, and I'm the one saying let's accentuate
normally
the positive.
I'm the one saying let's do that. A little bit of a role reversal
I've tried
this morning.
to come up with something positive for the last hour.
Well, here's the thing.
Leo's trying to provide balance.
I'm going to provide some balance. The PACE program allows you to get a bunch of work done to your house that you might not normally be able to qualify for.
That's correct.
It allows you to get a new roof, and there's a lot of health benefits to not having a leaking roof.
Yes.
Sure.
Allows you to have a working AC.
And to get insurance on that home.
And to get insurance. It helps with insurability. I mean, yes, the interest rate's a little higher, but if you need this kind of hard money loan, this is less than a hard money loan.
Right. But Leo, wouldn't you agree that instead of going by the equity in the home, let's find out if the person can afford that? Because it is my belief that these people are being, in some cases, in many cases, are being sold a product and a service well over the cost they would be able to get if they could get the money, if they could finance it themselves. We've seen it instance after instance, occurrence after occurrence, that people are being sold an air conditioner.
Well, you're honestly probably better off getting one of those. I'm not going to give
so
the
that's
vendors
why
out.
my recommendation would be is if you go by the person's income, you're going to see the cost to these people come down significantly because these contractors still want to do the work.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with you. I mean, people have to do their due diligence. They have to request more than one bidder. They have to compare prices. They have to be smart. But on the flip side of that, if you're a low-income person or you're on a very fixed income, you might not have the wherewithal. You might
agree.
You might not have the savvy to do all this research. So I can see where contractors can take advantage. And I really liked when you said last hour, buy local, stay local.
There you go.
If you got your out-of-town contractors that know how to game the system, just buy local, stay local, and vet your contractors, vet your lenders.
I mean, look online. Look at reviews.
But I mean, just ask them. Well, one is we had a contractor that was soliciting in the Pasco County area the other day. In fact, was going to sell a 74-year-old and a 64-year-old couple a solar system. Now, they need a solar system like I need another editorial, for goodness sakes. I mean, this is just absurd. Why would you sell them a solar system? The good thing is our customer advocate called them up and said, do you know that your taxes will be going up this amount? The woman who she spoke to was quite, wow, I never thought this was going to happen. This is where the problem lies. The good thing is we went back to the PACE provider and saying, we're not accepting this. You know why we're not accepting it? Not because it was sold, but because the contractor didn't have a business tax receipt, which is also known as an occupational license in Pasco County.
We have ours right on the wall. You can see it when you leave.
I already looked.
I saw it on the way in.
I looked when I came in. Just so you know.
I'm shutting this radio show down now.
I'm sure you would have let me know right away.
I'm taking this microphone with me.
So let me ask you this, because I get questions about solar all the time.
Yes, sir.
And I have a hard time, and I'm a big proponent of the GAF solar roof system,
Yes,
the one
sir.
that fits on the roof like a skylight. It's not attached with all these little holes and penetrations. I'm a fan of it.
What's that cost?
It's expensive.
Yeah.
Ish.
Really expensive.
Ish.
$8
Range.
to
That's
$10
not
a
bad.
square foot.
Really? You have to go there.
Had to go there.
Wow.
So
$8 to $10 a square foot. I'll just do some math. Let's go with 9.
And I hope that number's right. I just threw a number out.
That's okay.
This is the power of radio. I just threw a number.
You're on the radio.
So solar.
$27,000.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's
solar,
ballpark. That's
about,
absolutely right.
That's about right.
So solar doesn't really make sense unless your electric bill is over $300 a month.
That's interesting.
Say that
Leo.
again.
Say that
Solar-
again.
People need to hear that.
Solar really doesn't make sense unless your electric bill is over $250 to $300 a month.
Wow.
So I
Excellent.
should get solar.
Anything under that, you'll never break even.
So these senior citizens who live in Holiday probably live in maybe a 1,300 square foot home. Their air conditioner bill
You know
is not
what?
$300 a month.
It might make sense to get like what you're talking about, how it doesn't make sense to just get like a comparison and what the break-even
Yeah.
time looks like, and that could be part of your disclosure package.
I mean, I often compare solar to the way I would like the efficiency of cooking. Like when you go to a restaurant, they have a whole bunch of one ingredient. They make a whole bunch of food. When you make food at home, you waste a lot of food. You throw out scraps, you throw out these cuttings. In a restaurant, it's different. When you're cooking for mass people, you can take those same resources and use them more efficiently.
There you go.
Solar is along the same way.
Right.
Now you're just cooking energy at home.
I have no problem with it. In fact, as you know, we were one of those that fought Duke Energy to try and stop the ability for solar to be used and reproduced, if you will, and energy be reproduced. But I have great concerns when we had one gentleman who called a roofing company because he had a leak. It was a $1,500 repair. They wound up selling him a solar system.
Try to. I don't think they were
Well,
successful,
tried to.
right?
We thankfully,
Oh, my
I don't
word.
say put a stop to it, but we're able to
Gave
kinda,
them more information to make a different decision.
There you
Yeah.
go.
Yeah.
Well said.
Yeah. I mean, it's just these things. If there was no one else out there, you would have many of our people and senior citizens, and if it wasn't for shows like this and maybe a few of us, no one would understand nor realize what's going on. You know, how would that couple know whether this company had a business tax receipt in Pasco
Right.
County? They wouldn't have
They
a clue.
wouldn't, yeah.
No.
And then
So-
sorry.
Go ahead.
And then the other thing I'm seeing a lot of on this program is the HVAC contractors selling SEER 20, SEER 22 systems. SEER is the energy recovery
What's an HVAC
ratio.
contractor?
HVAC is air conditioning.
There we go.
Thank you,
Okay,
Mike.
and SEER is your energy recovery ratio. Florida Building Code says you need to be around 14 and a half
Gotcha.
for your energy recovery. That means that your bill will be of the motor's running at a certain efficiency. When you up yourself to a SEER 20 or SEER 22, you're tripling the price of the unit. It's much more efficient, but if you don't also replace all the duct, and you also don't give yourself those Nest systems or those like commercial control systems where you
Yes.
have zones,
Yes.
you're not gonna use that energy. It's just all wasted. So now you've spent 3 times the amount of money you need on an HVAC system. That's actually going to use more energy because the supporting system isn't working properly.
Gotcha.
Makes
Give me
sense.
an example. Maybe you can help me. So, and let's say, for instance, somebody needs an air, not wants, but needs one. 1,800 square foot home. What are we looking at to replace that air conditioner, the cost?
If they do it correctly, and I say if you got an older duct system, you need to replace the ducts
Certainly.
too. So
That I can appreciate.
So you're looking at somewhere between 4,500 and 6,500 for the AC unit.
Right.
Probably another 1,500 to 2,000
Wow.
for the ducts.
Wow.
So you're out the door on the low end for like $7,000 at most.
And I will show you contract after contract after contract that's in the $13,000, $14,000, $15,000 to $18,000.
So theoretically double-ish.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And this is where the problem is. When Leo talks about these are, and I'll say, desperate people because they have no other way of doing it, they
Yeah.
fall prey to these individuals, and that's wrong.
$7,000 is a really big bill.
That is why, in my
to swallow
opinion,
when
if
don't have any
you
money.
require, if you go by the income of the individual, that contractor is going to sell them something that they need, but not boost the price where they can't afford it.
Bingo.
So here's the thing. You had your people pull some numbers, and I did just some real quick numbers because we talked about during the break how I know how to recalculate escrow and all that jazz. So this one particular home, the tax bill was already $49.32 because it's
Correct.
got a CDD,
That's
right?
correct.
Which many of our communities in Pasco
Plus
have.
a couple of non-ad valorums
Yep.
taxes.
So when you look at that, and then you're adding the PACE on that, which is another $3,200.
That's right.
for what-
$3,200 that
per year.
That's correct,
For
per
that
year.
PACE to pay whatever. Let's just say it's an HVAC because that's what we're on topic. I calculated that their escrow is going to go from $411 to $614,
Right.
which means
Yes.
they've got a $203 shortage per month. And since taxes are paid in arrears,
That's correct.
that means you've got about a $2,500
Shortfall in the escrow account.
Plus, now you have to account for that shortfall plus your $203 difference.
So what
for
is
your
for
new
the
tax
for the
bill.
first year? when they get that tax bill and they get that new mortgage escrow increase, you're looking at an increase in your mortgage of about $600 a month. Am I right?
Well, $300 to $400 in this scenario.
Well, they're short. Yeah.
All right. We're going to dissect the numbers right after this break. We'll talk about it when we come back and carry this on so I can get it, because I didn't go that far with them, but I will. Our off-air number is 813-377-2775. 813-377-2775. Sidebar conversation, if you caught any part of that. This is Tampa Home Talk. I'm your host, Katrina Madewell, and we are now joined by Mr. Adam Talley. Welcome.
Good morning. It's good to be here.
Leo Kane, also Tim Coette, and Mr. Mike Fasano. So, going back to our example and to catch you up really quick, and our off-air number is 813-377-2775. If you want to figure out what the heck we're talking about and get more information, it's the PACE program, 813-377-2775. Just text PACE to 813-377-2775. So in your example, Tim, the PACE part of that tax bill is about $3,200. There's a CDD in there. The taxes were $4,900, and they're going to go to over $7,000.
Yeah,
so
it's
about
actually
$7,200.
2017. This person saw.
So imagine. So right now, this person saw a tax bill last year of $4,000 and change. Right? They're now going to see a tax bill of over $7,000 and change. That is a huge impact on a family when all of a sudden this tax bill shows up. Now, as you pointed out, they have an escrow account.
Which means their taxes and insurance are included in their mortgage payment.
That is correct.
Correct.
And now their escrow payment or their mortgage payment will increase. And as you pointed out, it's not going to, for the first year, it's not going to only increase based on the PACE.
In this scenario, it would be $203 increase based on the PACE.
Right, and then another how much for the
with the
catch-up.
shortage, I'm calculating an increase of over $400 a month.
So they're going to see a mortgage payment increase for the first year at least of over $400 a month.
So if you've got a $1,700 mortgage, you're now looking at $2,100.
That is correct.
And then even when it settles, you're still going up a couple $100.
Right. Now, to think for a moment of a senior citizen in Pasco County who is 100% VA disabled because of his.
You've seen this, right?
Yes, correct. And I brought this to the example to the attention of the commission, who has, like I say, been just so supportive of us, where he paid no ad valorem taxes because he's 100% disabled, and rightly so, he shouldn't pay. But you do pay non-ad valorem taxes. His non-ad valorem taxes went from $150 to over $3,000.
Real quick, tell the person listening what's the difference between a non-ad valorem and an ad valorem.
Certainly.
Because they get the tax bill and they just see tax bill.
Right. And as long as they see my name is key. An ad valorem tax are your property taxes, the property that you live on or that you own. Your non-ad valorem, which include taxes on by the Board of County Commissioners, by the school board, by mosquito control, by the fire district, things like that. On your non-ad valorem, you're going to have, if you live in a community development district or a CDD, that's where your non-ad valorem is going to be. Street lights, non-ad valorem. Stormwater, non-ad valorem.
And so this PACE falls
and
right
the
into
PACE,
that program.
the PACE loan falls on non-ad valorem. So any exemptions you have only reflect on your ad valorem taxes, not on your non-ad valorem. So this gentleman who had a high homestead exemption on his ad valorem because he was 100% VA veterans disability, he still had non-ad valorem taxes to pay. So therefore, this is where the PACE provider comes in. So he saw his taxes go from $150 a month to over $3,000. I mean, a year to over $3,000 a year.
So that's double. And so here's the thing: if you're escrow and you have a mortgage payment and your taxes and insurance are included, not only is that payment going up, but let's talk about the folks for a minute that don't have a mortgage
Well,
payment.
this gentleman didn't have a mortgage, so all of a sudden now he gets this tax notice that went from $150 to over $3,000.
So what's the... We'll talk about how that has to work out as a tax collector, which you have no control over. That's just how it's written. But essentially, what happens in that scenario? This guy's only planned to pay $1,500. He might be thinking it's a little bit higher, or $150. He might be thinking it's a little bit higher. Now it's $3,000.
Correct.
What what's his options? Like, can he make payments to
Yes,
the tax collector
we created
over a month?
we created a payment program to allow people to make a minimum of $100 each time they want to pay once the tax notice comes out. Of course, they have until from October 31st to March 31st to make those payments. So it's kind of sad in a
So
way.
what about when it's delinquent? Can they still continue to pay on that balance?
They can pay. Unfortunately, when that happens, once it goes delinquent, you have to pay the full amount if you decide to pay anything.
So you can no longer take any payments.
That's correct.
Okay.
Yeah, and this is Florida statute.
Right.
This is Florida statute.
It's not you, right?
That's
It's right
correct.
into the
And
law.
my concern is, and we were talking about it with one of the breaks, that my concern is we have a lot of homeowners who are going to be unable to pay this annual tax notice. A tax certificate will wind up being sold.
And it only takes, 3 years? And then
2
it's
years.
2 years. and
2
it's done.
years, and that tax certificate holder can then apply for a TDA, which begins the process of auctioning that home off.
Do these liens wipe off the mortgages? Are they superior to the mortgage?
They're superior to the mortgage.
They are.
They are.
How do they
the
jump
tax
ahead of
bill.
the mortgage liens? No
Because-
wonder they're not notifying
Because they're on the
lender.
tax notice. They're on the tax notice.
Taxes go first.
That's
Yeah.
right. But no wonder they're not notifying the lenders.
Well, they're supposed to notify the lender within 30 days.
Yeah,
according
but
to
I'm
Florida
saying no wonder
statute.
they're not, because they're superior.
Yeah, they're superior. Just like now, remember the homeowners associations are superior to the lender when that house gets sold. So, and that was a legislation we passed years ago. But they are superior, so therefore they're going to be taken care of. That's why for investors, it's the greatest investment in the world, because they're getting 7.5%, 8.5%, 9.5% on their money. Guaranteed.
Well, think about it. I mean, rates have been so low for so many years that rightfully so investors are looking for other ways to make money and invest it, right? That's how America is made up.
Right.
The savers invest their money, they get a return on it. Typically that's in the stock market or CDs, and that's not really happened for the last several years. The advantage of that is you can borrow money.
Where else, though,
on a low
can
rate.
an investor who doesn't have to worry about the person's income
Or credit.
or credit? Very good point. Very good point. Where else can he or she get
A guarantee for
a
the money.
guaranteed for their money and guaranteed on their interest rate? Nowhere in America. Nowhere in the world.
So you think this is going to be the next little housing crisis that
I'm
we
concerned.
will see?
There was a great article in the Wall Street Journal the other day. I should have sent it to you. I thought I put it on my Facebook page. It becoming that there's great concern that this could be another mortgage crisis that we saw a few years back, where people will start to see. Now in Pasco, maybe not that bad right now, but in counties like Broward County, out in California, it's all over the place, the PACE providers. And they had to pass some strict legislation, but unfortunately probably too late in the process.
In California, let's just face it,
That's another world out there.
that political arena, the whole thing is messed up.
They did do income, though.
We're
They
getting
did. They
many
changed
of
it to
them here.
income.
They
They
did
did change
income.
income. Yeah, yeah.
We're getting many of those people move here, which is exactly why
Which
we
is
need
great.
that little exemption for business owners, people
great.
like me, because their businesses are going to start coming here. Anyway.
But anyway, so therefore, I think in a few years, if we're not careful, we're going to see a problem, an explosion where we're going to see people who are not able to pay those taxes, where tax certificates were sold, and these homes start to get auctioned off.
So let's talk about what's the fix, right? So for
Sure.
you guys, I wouldn't say it's really a fix. It's kind of a Band-Aid or maybe like some pre-problem help, right, with your customer advocate that can answer a lot of questions about these particular programs. But in your opinion, what's the fix? Because there's some ideas that come to my mind, right? Like perhaps even to get a PACE loan, you have to take, so for example, I'm just in my mind how stuff thinks. If you're getting, say, down payment assistance, for example,
Yes.
you have to take a HUD certified home buyer education course to get the money. So what about if PACE had something like that too, where you had to take a PACE education type program in order to even be
Do you think the
given
PACE
money?
providers would want to do that?
That wasn't even the question, but yeah, they probably will not.
No.
But
So
the point
you're gonna have to
the
get
point
it
is
in law.
homeowner advocacy, right?
Yes,
That's
ma'am.
the point of this show. That's the point where you and I agree very much, which is how you even agree to talk about the PACE program, is to get this word out there, is homeowner advocacy. I mean, that means everything to me.
Certainly.
There was a stat that we just read from Family Reunion that said the average renter has a net worth of less than $5,000. The average homeowner
Wow.
has a net worth of more than $283,000.
Yeah.
So you can really build wealth through real estate, which is why we advocate for it.
Absolutely.
I know we talked about this briefly on the break. This is Leo with Beryl. I am a big proponent of what they do.
They know who you are by
Gosh,
now.
Leo.
I
I don't say this is Mike with the tax collector's office.
This is my your money.
Way to
Called
put
a shameful
way
plug.
under the bus.
Anyway,
Or shameless
I'm a
plug.
big proponent of what we do in the 203K/Homestyle, which is the renovation loan arena. We have an advocate that understands everything, a
Yep.
neutral party that helps develop the scope, that helps vet contractors, and that would prevent a lot of these solar installations. This would prevent a lot of these SEER 22 units.
That's
This would prevent
wonderful.
a lot of this. And that's something I guess the city council can or
Sure.
county commission can
Well,
actually
there's,
put
what
into
just so you
law.
know, there is a
Restrict your out.
there's a program in Pasco County with the community development part of our county. Community development is called, and it's called the Homeowner Rehabilitation Repair Program. These are dollars that are used that come back from the state under the SHIP program, SHIP. The county has where people who have a certain income, who make certain they have valuation in their home, other things. They have to qualify, but they can get a new air conditioner, a new roof, windows.
Wonderful.
And
So-
so it is available out there. People have to apply for it, of course.
All right, so we're going to talk about that when we come back after the break, like what some of those eligibility requirements are, because clearly that is a much, much better option and program than, attaching the PACE, right, to your tax bill.
Correct.
Which is how it's going to go down.
And by the way, this is not what I just spoke about is not attached to the tax bill. You get billed monthly for it.
Great. All right, so this is Tampa Home Talk. I'm your host, Katrina Madewell. We'll be back right after this break. And Adam Talley is going to give us our 2-minute insurance tip of the day. Our off-air number is 813-377-2775. Again, you can call us or text us at 813-377-2775.
You're listening to Tampa Home Talk, and this is Adam Talley with Talley Insurance with your 2-minute tip of the week. And today we're talking about the PACE program and all the things that you can do with it. One of those things is putting on a new roof, and we've been talking about what it's going to do to increase your monthly mortgage bill. However, if you do put on a new roof, make sure you get that wind mitigation inspection. Send it to your carrier. I have seen it change policies. $1,200 sometimes.
Yay,
So
the
you-
insurance guy saves the day.
trying to get it
I will
down a
tell you,
little bit.
that is correct. We have seen where people, when I was a legislator, we had where insurance companies and citizens insurance would not reissue a new policy for that home, especially in West Pasco, because the homes needed new roofs. If you remember those days.
That's still happening.
If somebody does get a new roof, they will see a significant reduction in their insurance premiums.
And I would recommend requoting it with all the carriers, because maybe you're with a certain carrier because you had an older
Right.
roof, and their rate is definitely going to go down with a new roof. But I've seen it where I've requoted and I've gotten somebody a lot more coverage than they thought they could have with bringing that price down. $1,000
You guys rate
plus.
through how many A-rated carriers?
17 carriers.
Okay.
At this point, for
That's
homeowners.
great.
Yeah.
I have to say that the insurance guy saves the day because we dog on Adam a lot. Like being the insurance guy, we love him, but he kind of gets picked on a lot.
I'm usually here with that. We can't do this. You can't do that.
Adam's the redheaded stepchild of the of the week, usually not me.
Well, I got to tell you, Adam, going off of what you said and something that Leo said earlier today, we had one.
Yep.
When we first put this program in place, he lived on the west side of 19. He didn't have the credit. He was, I think, on a fixed income, but he needed his roof done because his insurance was going through the roof. $2,500, $3,000 for his insurance. Put a new roof on. Had cost him, I believe it cost him about $400 or $500 a month through the PACE loan, so it wasn't a terribly expensive one. And he saw his insurance premium come down about $1,200.
So this is
And
an
so he
example
actually
where it
saw a
could
little
work.
bit of a saving. Exactly.
But he used a company that was ethical, and it was a
Yes.
Pasco company.
Correct.
Where they charged him a reasonable amount for that roof, didn't gouge him, and the gentleman could afford the payment.
And he knew his numbers,
And
if
he
you
knew
recall.
his numbers. He knew.
Yep.
We went and visited him because he was one of the first ones. So Tim and I went and visited him to see if
That
he-
was probably a treat for him.
I don't
He was
know.
like-
Yeah. So we went.
He was surprised, a little surprised to see us.
Why is
the
the
tax man
Why
doing
is the
here?
tax collector knocking on my door is not really a treat.
I swear I paid that bill.
At first he was like, no, and then he was probably like, all right, maybe you're okay.
No, but the first few we did go and visit. We wanted to make certain, and because it was done good, reasonably, and then then again you had these guys and gals who put a shingle on their roof, on outside of their door. Now they're a company. They come into Pasco and they see a niche. They see a niche, and then it goes downhill.
So in this scenario, Adam, like what you were talking about, and Tim, the payment actually maybe dropped a little?
Well, yeah. So his payment for his yearly payment for his new roof through the PACE program, I believe, was about $450, but his yearly payment for his insurance dropped by about $1,200.
Okay.
Yeah, but we're talking year versus month.
Yeah.
So no, we are. We're comparing years.
It's year to year.
No, it's year to year.
Insurance premium is annual, and so
because
So the tax
because
bill
he was
and the
sold
homeowner's
a
insurance
roof that was a reasonable price, not something that $25,000 roof, which we've seen in some cases.
So I want to talk about what's the fix for this program,
Certainly.
right? Maybe more education, perhaps a cap, perhaps a little bit more rigorous of a qualification process.
But you need oversight. This Florida statute that was created has zero oversight. The only oversight here in Pasco County is the tax collector's office and the property appraiser's office,
Which is so absent in other communities, I would think. Right?
No, we can't speak for them, Katrina.
Well, I'm just giving my own opinion. It's my opinion.
Wait a second, Hillsborough County's on the chat.
Well,
yeah, but I will tell you that
I think he agrees,
Bob
though.
Hidringas will agree with us, but he's limited of what he can do. But we have the support of our commission, and we just took it upon ourselves as the tax collector and the property appraiser, Gary Jorna, that if you don't sign this new contract requiring customers to sign a disclosure, seeing what the PACE program is, the good, bad, and the ugly, then we're not going to put it on the tax roll, and we're not going to put it on the tax bill. And not only that, we went to the commission and they agreed and had one PACE provider removed from Pasco County, so they can't provide the service, the loans any longer. They are now.
So they took advantage.
Oh yes,
Well, they came back and they
their
said,
tone.
"Okay, we'll sign it." Not only did they sign it, we expanded it to include more disclosure, and they still signed it, and they're still ready. Now they're in negotiation with the county to come back in.
Play by our rules or don't play at all.
Now I have a question for you. Is there a place where a homeowner can go and look up, say, the average cost for a roof, so they know they're not getting gouged? Like, obviously, different roofers can charge different things, but if there's a range where you can say, hey, I should be somewhere between $10,000 and $12,000, and then they get something for $20,000.
Well, with roofs in particular, it's really easy. I actually helped a roofer whose name I won't mention establish a program online where someone can type in their address. It ties into a program called Eagle View, and they get a quote right away.
Outstanding.
So that's roofing is simple. They take their satellite imagery. It's all priced by square foot. They know their waste. That roofing's the easiest. But there's a website out there called HomeWise, HOMWYSE.com. And it's replacement calculators, or how much is this going to cost. It's just a vetter, and it gives you a low to a high. It even segregates it by zip codes, so it localizes it for you. But I use HomeWise.com when doing some of my estimates because I want to just check to make sure that my estimates are in the middle.
Or you could get 3 quotes. I mean,
And that's what
and
if you are looking, the only way you can go is a PACE. Make sure. Don't go by the guy or gal who knocks on your door, who, by the way, is not the contractor. He or she has been hired by the contractor. We've had these contractors hire sales companies to go and knock on doors. That's so unethical, in my opinion. So bad.
I got a good story about that, too. There was, I have a client, and there was somebody like that, a door knocker. Client wasn't home. Apparently the door knocker tripped or something, supposedly, on her way out, broke her arm, and then had a liability suit come against her.
What an insurance story. Oh, my God.
So, I don't recommend the door knocker.
You balance yourself out. You brought us good news, and now you're balancing out.
I think the fraud department got involved on that one.
Right?
I don't know how far that went.
Wow.
So these solar signs that you see everywhere on the side of the road, those are likely targeting PACE, you think?
I don't know. I've seen them myself, and I'm
Just
not
curious.
sure, so I want to be careful in saying
Not sure,
anything.
okay.
Again,
Fair enough.
I think Leo brings up a good point. If your bill, your electric bill is below a certain amount, $300, $250, you don't need a
not gonna make
solar
sense.
system. And the new homes they're building today, with the way they're being built, I don't know.
They're more energy efficient than ever. They're
No
lower.
question.
Yeah, I have to
too
tell
energy
you,
efficient, actually.
I have a 1,900 square foot home, and people are going to say, "How do you do that?" I don't live in the dark, but my electric bill is no more than $125 a month.
So it doesn't make sense for you to get solar.
No, but but guess what? My neighbor's 2 doors down got a solar system. I'm thinking, why? But it's up to them. It's their money, you know.
It was a great analogy in like break even point that you made.
Yeah, it's got to be, if your bill isn't above 250.
And just so you know, we're going with Leo. We're not sure if that's factual. We're just
No,
going with
that
the
is, and
number.
I've actually talked with the solar companies, and we've sat down. It's like, of a certain point, it just doesn't make economical sense. And if your bill isn't above 250, it just doesn't make sense. And as far as that comment earlier, I said that homes are too energy efficient right now. We're getting a lot of indoor air quality issues.
Oh, interesting. Okay,
because the homes are too tight. And if you live in a very tight home where you start getting some respiratory problems or you have a higher humidity because your AC is over efficient and it's not dehumidifying properly, you really got to leave those bathroom fans on to start circulating air out of the house.
And fresh air. People forget about that.
Yeah, that's
one of
too
the
efficient.
On our disclosure, one of the questions that we put to the contractor, well, to the customer, for energy improvements, does the contractor have to give me an energy audit? And the fact is, the law does not require any verification of energy savings for improvements to your home financed through PACE. Any figures about energy savings given to you by a contractor should be independently verified by you. So there's something that could be changed easily statutorily in Tallahassee, that they must give you an estimate of what you're going to save.
Yes. Well,
an accurate estimate.
And I think there should be a little bit of truth in lending as well.
Absolutely.
To show you what that tax bill is going to be, how that can change your payments, and then a disclosure that after 2 years your home could be sold.
In what we require the customer to sign and the contractor to sign and the PACE provider, not only do they have to put their name, phone number, their address, we also ask them, I attest that I have disclosed that I have entered into a PACE assessment of this property and seek to add an additional assessment. So this way, we want to know, do you already have a PACE contract on this for, like we gave you an example of the gentleman from Zephyr Hills? Is this going to be their second PACE loan that they're getting? And then we also require, of course, the parcel number. We then require the contractor to put the estimate annual payment, the total assessment amount, the length of the assessment of years, and the estimate tax year if the payment is due. So the homeowner knows all these things, because nowhere in the PACE provider's contract does that disclose it.
Nope.
And the minute you sign, the money starts ticking.
That's it.
It's
Absolutely.
It's like simple interest on a mortgage. You're going to pay interest for every day you have that money, and taxes are paid in arrears.
And the
so
key to
don't
remember,
forget.
too, is when the property appraiser closes his books, July 1, if you take a PACE loan right after that, you're looking at almost 18 months of financing up front.
Can we real quick talk about this?
I think that ties into my next question,
Yes,
which is
please.
the difference between, I think, you can correct me if I'm wrong,
Certainly.
but the Pasco fix through CDD compared to PACE. Is that what you're going to chat about?
Yeah, the community development, actually the Pasco Community Development Program, which is through SHIP dollars, HAIP, which are dollars that come from Tallahassee. By the way, those dollars that come from Tallahassee is going to increase significantly if the governor, DeSantis, wants it. I'm hoping he gets it through the legislature. Pasco will see a lot more. The legislature will not rob, if you will, sweep the Sadowski Trust Fund, where these dollars go in. People say, well, where do you get with these dollars? These dollars are gotten every time a loan is closed.
Yep.
A real estate loan is closed. A percentage of that, there's a tax on it that goes into the Sadowski Trust Fund. Those dollars are supposed to be used for affordable housing purposes. Unfortunately, we could have hundreds of millions of dollars in there, and the legislature will sweep a vast majority of it, leaving a small amount to actually be used
And that
for
makes me
affordable
mad
housing.
because we see the bills on these and they're hefty.
Yes.
You pay them anytime you get a mortgage.
Right.
And that's the purpose of those.
And you're finding out it's not really going there. So anyway, if the governor gets his way, and I hope he does, by the way, doing a great job he is, that these dollars will come back to Pasco, gosh, triple or quadruple of what they got last year.
Well,
now
it was I did this yesterday.
Right.
It was 2.3 million the year before last. We only got 700,000 in Pasco
That's
last
correct.
year.
Right.
So now they're hoping, the plan is hopefully we get more like 6 million.
if the governor has his way. But remember, it's the legislature that make that final decision.
Reach out to your legislative people
Absolutely.
and your governors. Who's the contact person? Who should they reach out to?
As well, you want to reach out to your legislators
So-
here in Pasco County. County, Senator Simpson, Senator Hooper, Representative Artie Zika, Representative of Mariano, and soon
Special election over in
special
Pepper
election.
Hills.
We hope soon Representative
It'll
Maggard.
be Randy Maggard. Yep.
Yes.
All right, this is Katrina Madewell's Tampa Home Talk. Our off-air number is 813-377-2775. 813-377-2775. We'll be back right after this break, and we're going to talk a little bit more about the Pasco Fix program and some alternatives to the PACE program. Stick around. We'll be back right after this break.
Welcome back. You're listening to Tampa Home Talk. We're the entire team of Katrina, Leo, and Adam. We've got Tim and Mike in the house, and I can't believe we're to our last segment.
I can't either. It's been almost 2 hours.
That's what
I
PACE
know.
will do to you.
Time flies when you show up late. You know?
Time flies when you're pacing.
Do you know the tax collector's office? We lose money on the PACE program, meaning that the money that we collect and distribute to the PACE providers, we don't make any money because we've hired a customer advocate.
Yeah, you have more expense.
It costs us more to do it, but we don't mind doing it because we're trying to protect that homeowner, that customer.
Yeah. I don't know. We're going to have to get creative or think about this, like how we can educate these people more, put a little bit more legislative protection for
I think it
homeowners.
can happen at the county as well. As you know, there are a lot of counties that have not put PACE in place. Pasco did. They've made some. They're willing and ready to make some changes. Commissioner Mike Moore is just outstanding, along with the other 4 commissioners. Tim is working with Commissioner Moore's legislative aide here in Pasco County to look at making some changes that we spoke about today.
Awesome. So let's talk about this other issue, or other program that we have.
Yeah, the first one is real quickly, and I spoke about it earlier, and that is with the community, Pasco County Community Development, where they have that rehabilitation program, repair program, if a Pasco County homeowner can qualify. For those who would be interested in maybe applying for it, I can give you a couple of numbers, 727-834-3445, and in Land O'Lakes, 813-996-7341. In Dade City, 352-521-4274. I would highly recommend.
We'll post all these too on Tampa
Certainly,
Home Talk,
yeah.
because many times people are driving
And
in
the
car.
income doesn't have to be dramatically low. For instance, for an income for a housing investment partnership and small repair program, one person can have an income as no higher than $53,000. Two people, $61,000.
Pretty high threshold.
It is. It is. I mean, so a lot of our seniors that may not have the ability to finance something before they run to PACE, look to see if they might qualify here. There's another program. Unfortunately, it's not going to help those in Pasco, but it might help to your listeners in Hillsborough County and Pinellas County, where they have what they call the SELF program, the Solar Energy Loan Program. They work with licensed and insured contractors from across the state to finance roofs, AC, solar. It also provides unsecured personal loans to homeowners and require that the applicants show their ability to pay. That's the key. Can they afford it? Let's not just give loans out based on the equity in their home. Let's give loans out based on if the person can pay. We had a story that someone told us about a gentleman in California who had very little income but had this beautiful home that kept increasing in value. It was worth a couple of $1 million. So what did the PACE contractors come in there? Sold him all kinds of things.
Can do everything for you.
Yeah.
Sold him 6 figures of products.
Yeah. Well, he couldn't afford that, so he gets his tax bill or whatever, and there's no way he's going to be able to pay this,
And they don't have portability in California, but we do here.
Exactly. So I would recommend it, and if you live in Hillsborough County, or especially in Pinellas, they have it in Pinellas.
So why don't we have this in Pasco? Commissioner,
Because
having it brought out here?
Yeah, and we've brought it to Commissioner Moore's attention.
So it's on the radar.
Absolutely. I sent it to him last night. He wants to get with us.
We just sent it to him, so I'm going to
Well,
give him a little break
Breaking
there.
news here on Tampa
the
Home
problem.
Talk.
The issue is it's so new. The SELF program is so new that we're all trying to understand it. And remember, before we allow something to happen, just because somebody comes to your office and tells you it's a good idea,
You guys want to know more about it.
absolutely.
Bet
I
that
don't
baby.
want to. I've been involved in politics and dealing with individuals, especially lobbyists, for the past almost 20 years in Tallahassee. I'm not going to say, okay, let's do it. Let's find out about it. Make sure it's going to be good for our Pasco residents.
Yes, absolutely. Tim, you were saying, how did this program come about?
The SELF program? The SELF program started in St. Lucie County. A former county commissioner down there, Doug Coward, came up with the concept. He came off the county commission and wanted to get into the green space industry. And a very unique way he did it was actually setting up the PACE program, which you're allowed to by statute as a nonprofit funded by the county. So he set up a system where people can walk into an office and they have literally 6 options to look at. And then he guides them in the right direction, probably lowest cost, lowest interest rate, all those. And he's just done a phenomenal job down there.
I mean, the more options you have, the better it's going to be for people listening.
Could you imagine if we had something like that in Pasco where somebody could go to the county and have that advocate, if you will, that somebody needs an air conditioner really bad, desperate. Come on in, Mrs. Smith. Come on in, Ms. Jones. Let's sit down. Let's see what your income is. Let's see what you would qualify for. Boom, boom, boom.
You know, I'm a huge advocate for that. You know, one of our customers, which actually came by listening to this show, wanted to buy an investment property. And so we started that process. We actually went under contract to buy something. You're familiar with the property. And when I found out that he had borrowed the money against a home equity loan, for like inspections and I'm like, wait a minute. We need to revisit this. So he came in and we literally, and sometimes this is where me, even as a real estate person, have to take a step back, look at the basics. And I said, bring your numbers in. We're going to look at your budget. And so when I went through all those numbers with him, I was totally honest with him. And I said, look, you're at least Katrina. 2 years out from buying any investment property. You are not set up right now to do that. And I want to set you up to succeed in real estate, not fail.
Good for you.
And so we literally revamped his whole budget. And, you know, with the way the numbers worked out, it made sense for him to write a check to that home equity, pay off the student loans. And so when I calculated his plan, he could literally have 0 debt, 0, even his house payment and the home equity within 4 years.
Wow.
So I told him, you're 2 years away easily. Yeah. But we're talking about this quickly, like with the escrow refund he got back, he's paying off a personal loan. He's going to have a credit card paid off within 3 months because of the consolidation. And then he's about 24, 36 months, depending on how aggressively he pays that home equity. And then once he doesn't have that payment anymore, he can knock out the house in 4 years total.
Great job.
From now.
That's why you're so successful. Thank you very much.
I never want to put anybody in a position to fail. I just don't, because for homeownership for me is really important. And I didn't learn the stuff that I teach today. I had to learn all this myself the hard way. I didn't learn it from my parents, and I had to. And so for me, it's really important to be an advocate, and that's why when several years ago, and they were writing all these crazy pick-a-pay negative amortization loans, I had people come into my office, and I would look at I was a mortgage side too, so I was doing both, and I would look at their numbers, and I'd say, look, I realize you can go down the street and get this loan, and they're going to qualify you, they're going to approve it, but you're not qualified for this loan. It's going to come back, and this will set you up to fail. And I tell you, I had a guy one time, I didn't sell him the houses, but he came to me with the mess. He was a Denny's cook. He owned 5 homes.
Wow.
They were all, I cannot make this stuff up, all on a negative option, pick-a-pay, ARM loans. And so you look at something like that, and now this poor guy never has a chance of having the good things that come out of homeownership, right? Which is the equity and the appreciation and the wealth.
Just think if we had more options and ability to give to these people, especially the homes that have been around for a long time and people can't afford to maybe put a new roof on. As they do these things, as they do these improvements to their homes, the values of their homes increase, which increase the values of those communities.
All right, Mr. Fasano, sorry to cut you off. We're already out of time. It's been an amazing 2 hours. Thank you for being my guest. You're listening to Tampa Home Talk. Adam, Leo, and I are glad you're here. You can get us at our off-air number, 813-377-2775. Remember, live where you live, or we're going to fix it. Welcome home.